Joy Behar calls her a 10. I mean, how dare she objectify a woman with a sexist rating system, but it's such a typical thing from a 1.5.
Well said.
And the motives stink worse than Joy Behar's jog bra. I mean, assuming she jogs. Oh, wait, there she is. She has a point. Maybe I am obsessed, but some people are obsessed with Bigfoot, and they don't get to see him on TV every afternoon. And if they did, could they tell the two apart? I don't know.
Greg didn't even get loud. He just lifted eyebrows. With one sarcastic jab after another, he turned Joy's trademark smugness into what seemed like a total meltdown. And then there was Tyrus. Calm as usual, hardly reacting, tossing out savage one-liners like he was taking aim at her image for sport. The tone felt less like playful back and forth and more like a comedic takedown.
It's not even that. In The View, you don't need to find Trumpers. You need to fire your race baiters.
Yeah.
You need to fire the two races. You've had people. You had a McCain on there. You've had people on there before, and you ran them off. So the racist ones who want to stick to this, Whoopi and Sonny, and was it Bette Midler?
What's her name? Joy.
The broke-ass Bette Midler. Fire them and bring people in. Maybe you could get McCain to come back. She was a Republican, but every show and every break, she was nearly in tears because she was being...
Live on air, Tyrus didn't need to shout. He just dropped punchlines that landed like cinder blocks. Gutfeld? His jabs were so razor-sharp, they didn't just hurt. They sliced clean through the inflated ego Joy's been parading around for years. Let's be honest, she's been clinging to her unstable daytime TV throne for far too long, untouchable in her self-made echo chamber. But this time, she walked into an ambush no one prepped her for. She was taken down by a duo who didn't rely on outrage or cancel culture. They came armed with comedy, delivered with sniper-level accuracy. The kind that doesn't yell, but reveals. The kind that tears through fake laughs and shaky stories with surgical-level sarcasm. Gutfeld's timing was so sharp it could have etched glass, mocking Joy's every line like he'd trained in a stand-up dojo. Meanwhile, Tyrus watched her unravel, sipping her discomfort like it was his midday coffee. Suddenly, Joy wasn't laughing, because when the jokes turn on you and the applause fades, that so-called throne starts trembling fast. This wasn't just television. It was a televised takedown, raw, direct, and long overdue. There wasn't some dramatic clash, no explosive argument, no studio screaming match where Joy Behar could overpower with volume. Nope. This wasn't a debate. It was a quiet assassination. And the harshest part? Joy wasn't even there when it happened. That's what made the blow land even harder.
Joy Behar accused Elon Musk of being pro-apartheid, but then begged him afterwards not to sue. Musk lawyers have yet to comment because they're still checking to see if it's legal to sue a cow.
Shots fired.
Just a legal question. I don't know why it's so upsetting. I don't make the rules in this country.
Greg Gutfeld didn't need to say her name. He didn't have to. The way he laid it out, everyone knew exactly who he meant. He nailed the description of a certain media personality with pinpoint precision. Loud, full of herself, perched on a cushy daytime set, wine glass in hand, preaching like she's tapped into the common person's reality, when she's probably never even filled her own gas tank. Ring a bell? If that doesn't scream Joy Behar, then we're living in a world without gravity. Gutfeld didn't hold back, but he delivered the blows with expert finesse. No yelling, just perfectly timed zingers that sliced deep. He built it all on satire, wrapped in humor, and let the punchlines do the heavy lifting. No name necessary, but the sting was unmistakable. Then came Tyrus, stepping in like the closer. No drama, no hype, just a deadpan look into the camera that felt like a call out to the nation. You really still letting her speak? His tone was ice-cold, deliberate, and crushing. He didn't need volume. The quiet between his lines was louder than any rant. While Joy keeps spinning the same tired act for a crowd that claps on cue like trained seals, Tyrus and Gutfeld were playing on another level. Cool, calculated, and completely dismantling her brand without ever pulling up a chair for her. This wasn't just casual shade, it was a carefully orchestrated takedown, a comedy sketch structured like a sniper op, aimed straight at the myth of her relevance. And by the time it ended,
The news, the feral monsters of The View say they've never heard of you-know-who. True, the show that makes mornings hell claim that my name doesn't ring a bell. It's time for...
Our view on The View. Ugh.
Yeah, the witch's coven finally shows me some lovin'. Yesterday on The View, yours truly was the subject of conversation. Apparently the broads have no idea who I am, or so they say. Hit it.
Joy Behar wasn't trending because of something she said. She was trending because two guys laughed her into irrelevance, and she wasn't even there to see it happen. Yet somehow, she became the center of attention without stepping foot in the room. Let's rewind and really look at what this was. Joy Behar's career has become a highlight reel of half-formed outrage, off-target opinions, and takes so detached from reality they make science fiction seem grounded. She's like that one person at every party who hijacks the conversation, insists on giving an unsolicited TED Talk on global affairs, while mispronouncing countries and mangling facts like she pulled them off a cereal box. She floats in her own little bubble, speaking in extremes and craving applause like it's her lifeline, as if without that validation, she might just collapse. That's exactly where Gutfeld flipped the narrative. He didn't yell back. He didn't sling insults or toss dramatic jabs. He just laughed, literally. A smirk, a raised brow, and let the jokes do all the heavy lifting. No shouting, no ranting, just cool, calculated humor that deconstructed her persona one clever line at a time. He didn't show up for a brawl. He showed up to peel back the mask. This wasn't a battle, it was demolition disguised as comedy. And Joy? She's still under the illusion she's leading the parade, like a cruise ship bandleader waist-deep in water while the ship sinks and everyone else has already jumped ship. Yet she's still waving the baton, convinced the show must go on. That's the absurdity, the delusion. Gutfeld and Tyrus didn't need a direct clash. They simply pointed the lens at the chaos, aimed it at the reality she refuses to see, and let the audience make up their minds.
Gutfeld talks about you all the time.
Who is he? Really, who is he?
I don't watch the show.
He has a show.
I don't watch the
never
show.
heard of him.
Yeah.
I guess he's just obsessed with me.
No. Next, Joy's gonna say she's never heard of carbs. Seriously, her denial of knowing me is as believable as her red hair. But obsession? I mean, come on, Joy. Where would you even get that idea? Like Joy Behar's face, it's looking worse and worse by the day. More full of crap than Joy Behar after a night of scotch and Taco Bell. Her being named Joy is like me being named ugly. Joy wasn't there on the show. Apparently Mondays are her days off when she feeds in the pasture. It now smells like a humid day inside Joy Behar.
And that chaos? It's called The View. What started as a daytime panel show has turned into a full-blown stage production for politically frazzled drama queens. It's no longer a place for real conversation. It's performance art for the emotionally unstable. What used to be debates now feels like a live-action Twitter thread, with hosts trying to outdo each other's eye rolls, meltdowns, and hot takes. Facts have left the building. It's all about who can shout louder, sob harder, or throw the wildest headline into the madness. And Gutfeld? He's not even stepping into the ring. He's watching it all from the sidelines, coffee in hand, smirking as this daytime soap opera loops like a rerun. You can picture him, eyebrows raised, probably wondering how this show hasn't been cancelled yet. Then, effortlessly, he drops a grenade, one sharp comedic bit that shatters the illusion that The View ever held any moral high ground. He's not just roasting Joy Behar. He's pulling apart the entire image she's crafted. Greg doesn't rely on gimmicks. No props. No screaming matches. His strength? Subtlety. A smirk. A pause. A perfectly timed line that says more than 5 minutes of shouting ever could. His whole approach is quiet confidence. He doesn't need to yell when a raised eyebrow gets the job done. And Tyrus? He's the silent force. Where Joy needs background music and a crowd to land a thought, Tyrus drops half a sentence and lets it sit, because the weight of it speaks for itself. The message is crystal clear. Joy Behar's act expired 3 controversies ago. There's something unintentionally hilarious about watching someone beg for relevance while acting like a live-action meme.
Oh, this is what elitists do who can't, like, if you don't know who someone is, how did you know to automatically hate him? Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, that's how fake and full of she is. Gutfeld, never heard of him. Don't like him. Why? Cause why? That's why I just turned to one of my kids. Cause why?
Yeah.
Because I don't know who he is. Never heard of him at all in my entire life. But why? Because I don't know. Because they are the last TV show to talk about high turnover. Mm-hmm. We've been rolling 3 steady for a long time.
Yeah.
We don't take breaks in the commercial to get away from each other. Well, that's what drinking's for.
Yes.
Meghan McCain, how'd that go?
Yeah.
Rosie O'Donnell, or any of these previous fellow employees? Because one of the things they said was that no one walks away from money. Right?
Yeah.
So they got people running away from.
Joy speaks with the certainty of a professor, but delivers facts like someone who barely stayed awake in high school civics. She's got the volume of a foghorn, the grace of a marching band, and the accuracy of a rusted-out Jeep. Her appeal doesn't come from sharp insight, it comes from sheer noise. The applause she thrives on isn't earned through cleverness, it's granted out of political loyalty. The crowd isn't laughing because it's funny, they're clapping because they've been trained to. Meanwhile, Gutfeld and Tyrus move in a totally different orbit. One where authentic humor lives, the kind of laughter that creeps up on you, the kind you can't script or fake. The kind that lands when someone finally points out the absurdity you never realized was staring you in the face. Joy relies on a teleprompter and a programmed audience. Gutfeld? He just needs a camera and a killer line. Joy Behar has been soaking in applause for so long, she's begun confusing it with actual agreement. She assumed the cheers made her untouchable, above criticism. But Greg Gutfeld didn't need to crash her stage or start a shouting match. He simply laughed from a distance, cool, composed, and cutting, while she stood on her imaginary balcony, waving like royalty, convinced the crowd still worshipped her.
The problem is that you have to go after the racist people. And if the CEO goes, you know what, I'm not going to allow a woman on my show, or man, that will go after white America and talk about them like dogs. That doesn't represent our ideals or values for anyone. And get rid of those people, and this will clear up real quick. So do you have to actually look in the mirror and clean up your own backyard and get the racist people out? Because that's who you allowed in. You allowed black racists on TV who could just go all day and say anything about white people. And I guess lo and behold, they forgot that there's a lot of people at home, white people at home during the day, that are not watching your show anymore. So just clean it up.
Yeah, you know.
And then there's Tyrus. No shouting, no dramatic comebacks, just that look. The kind of look that silently says, "You really believe what just came out of your mouth?" Then he turned and walked away. No mic drop, no zinger, just pure, deliberate silence. And in that silence lived the sharpest form of ridicule, because satire doesn't need to shout, and irony can't be beaten with emotion. Joy has made a career out of performative outrage, storming sets with drama, while Gutfeld sidesteps the chaos with well-timed jokes, dry wit, and logic wrapped in absurd comedy. It's not that she's incapable of evolving, it's that she's locked into the role. She could leave the show, change her tone, even retreat from the spectacle, but she won't. Why? Because in the world of television, being right, even when you're blatantly wrong, is addictive. That applause? It's a drug. And Joy's been chasing that high for way too long. That's the real target for Gutfeld and Tyrus. Not Joy the person, but Joy the persona. The carefully crafted media character who's perfected the outrage routine. In another moment of calm devastation, Gutfeld delivered a monologue packed with punchlines that felt less like a comedy bit and more like a precision strike, shredding the fragile moral facade of daytime talk TV. The crowd didn't laugh because it was shocking. They laughed because it was true. He didn't even have to drop her name. Everyone knew exactly who he meant. It was like calling out the emperor's tattered clothes without saying emperor. Everyone saw it. Everyone laughed. That's real comedic power. And for the finishing blow, Tyrus let his face say it all. The camera cut to him. No words, no smirk, just that calm, blank expression that screamed louder than any rant. So, this is where we're at now. That single look may have landed harder than a 10-minute monologue.
About The View. it's become like a medical hospital that displays human misfailure. Like it's like here, let's look at this political oddity. You know, it's like it really is like the left-wing equivalent of a carnival sideshow, except instead of bearded ladies and fat clowns and two-headed cows. Well, let me rephrase that. But The View is a victim of the sunk cost fallacy. You know, how can you now speak the truth when for years you've been telling lie after lie after lie? Now you're carrying this big bag of rocks around you because it's too harmful for their ego to admit that we really were dishonest. And they could be honest. All they would have to say is, look, we hate Trump so much. We were willing to lie about Joe Biden because we felt he was preferable. We thought our lying and our cover-up was on your behalf. Just say that. You're still scum, but at least you're honest.
It landed so hard, whatever shred of self-awareness Joy's teleprompter had left probably short-circuited on the spot. Let's be honest, this was overdue. Someone finally mocked The View without ever stepping foot on its over-glorified stage. That show's gone from covering hot topics to being a full-on parody of itself. Watching it feels like a crash course in killing nuance, with theatrical overreactions and matching mugs to boot. And the craziest part? Gutfeld and Tyrus didn't even have to show up. They're already producing a far more watchable version. No scripts, no fake applause, just sharp satire with bite. While Joy delivers every segment like she's defending the Constitution, Gutfeld comes off like he's at a cocktail party where someone awkwardly brought up politics. It's uncomfortable, hilarious, and painfully real. Because here's the truth. Nobody wants to be lectured by someone who treats disagreement like a disease. Joy talks at people, Gutfeld laughs with them. And this wasn't just a takedown of Joy Behar. It was a takedown of the entire system that props her up, the formula, the echo chamber, the performance masquerading as thoughtful commentary. They never had to say her name. The message was loud and clear. Joy may still think she's clutching the mic of moral authority, but the punchline is, the audience isn't laughing with her anymore. They're laughing at her. People aren't tuning in to be scolded, they're tuning out, and switching over to Gutfeld and Tyrus, who are roasting the whole structure with sharper precision and fewer words. What made this hit iconic wasn't the noise, it was the precision. They didn't yell, didn't lose their cool, didn't even raise their voices. They just let the contrast speak for itself. Calm, cutting humor set against a backdrop of melodramatic outrage. And in doing so, they didn't just criticize Joy's act, they let it collapse under its own exaggerated weight. No debate. No drama. Just pure contrast so stark, it turned Joy Behar into a walking cartoon of everything they were skewering.
Sure, all that, and the price of butter. Sonny gets the game ball. If it wasn't for her, asking that question, it might have been a closer election. But when oh no, nothing really comes to mind, I was like, should listen, they're bitter, they're angry, they're entitled. They also should be. This should have been a reset for everyone who pushed lies and misinformation for the last, they call them Hitler, they call these things, America rejected them. And instead of coming back and saying, we lied, they instead are now doubling down. So let her keep doing it, because if she keeps that up, we're going to keep getting the Senate and probably the House and the White House, because people see right through you.
And that's exactly why it stings. Because Joy didn't get taken down by insults, she got outclassed by irony. While The View keeps packaging sanctimony as applause-worthy insight, Gutfeld and Tyrus are serving up comedy with bite. And audiences are making it clear which flavor they've been craving. One show lectures you like a scolding teacher, the other makes you laugh like you're in on the joke. And when people are tired of being condescended to like kids in detention, humor wins the crown every single time. The real punchline? Joy wasn't even invited. While she sat atop her squeaky daytime throne, eyes fixed on the studio door, bracing for some dramatic challenger to storm in, Gutfeld and Tyrus were already finished. They weren't looking to dethrone her. They were slow roasting her media legacy like forgotten leftovers simmering in a dusty crockpot. No direct hits. No RSVP. No warning shot. They didn't even aim at her. They laughed around her. And that's what made it brutal. This wasn't a roast with her in the hot seat, it was a silent dismantling. A complete takedown without ever mentioning her name. Not a showdown. A drive-by demolition from blocks away. Gutfeld didn't storm her turf. He lit the fuse from his own set, took a sip of coffee, and watched as the structure Joy built started crumbling from the outside. Tyrus? Same vibe. No fire and brimstone. Just that deadpan glare and a single, unimpressed snort. Yet it landed harder than any of Joy's long-winded monologues about saving democracy.
Her loves running her mouth. She should. But she should. It's the only running she does. Emily! So what did you make of this VBAC? VBAC is what she called him. I don't care if you disagree or agree with him. That dude is not dumb.
No, and that is what was so ridiculous. Everything that comes out of her mouth is ridiculous, but for her to make that kind of point about someone that we all know, that regardless how you feel about his politics or him running, that he is undeniably brilliant, is so ridiculous.
And the wildest part? She still hasn't caught on. Joy's no longer the main character. She's become background noise in a joke she never saw coming. That's what really stings. She expected the usual drama, a fiery back and forth, some explosive rebuttal, maybe even a chaotic split-screen showdown on live TV. Instead, she got roasted in absentia, an entire segment built around her without ever needing to name her. Imagine shaping your whole public persona around provoking reactions, only to realize no one's reacting anymore. The bear's been poked so many times, it's not raging, it's yawning. The costume's worn out, the act is tired, and the circus packed up and left long ago. And the most tragic part? The audience barely noticed. We're in a new chapter now. Viewers are over the overwrought, hyper-scripted daytime rants pretending to be profound. They want quick wit, sharp sarcasm, and expressions that say more than 10 pages of monologue. The cultural current has shifted, and the outrage Joy's been cashing in on? It doesn't hold value like it used to. The View has gone from being a midday arena of bold commentary to something more like a dusty wax museum. Frozen expressions, outdated narratives, and hosts who glitch mid-sentence while still pretending they're dangerous.
Here's Joy Behar talking about refusing to share a kidney.
I find that friends with a Trump supporter. I won't give them a kidney, but I could be friends with them.
Hey, Joy, it's a kidney, not a pizza. Of course, she's kidding at first, but then she goes on to explain the moral foundation for her resentment, and it's the same one that drives all deadly ideologies.
It used to feel like live TV, unfiltered, unpredictable. Now it feels like stale leftovers, reheated and served by hosts still pretending the flame hasn't gone out. Meanwhile, Gutfeld's show? It's chaotic, but it's honest chaos. It's like walking into a gritty dive bar where the bartenders crack brutal jokes, and every punchline comes with a shot of truth and zero artificial sweetener. It's messy, it's loud, but somehow, it all makes more sense than the overproduced, polished nonsense being spoon-fed at lunchtime. Younger viewers? They're not buying what Joy's selling. They're not here for moral sermons from millionaire panelists who mistake applause for facts. They've checked out of the puppet show, where the strings are visible and the puppeteers are shouting off script. Instead, they're tuning in to Gutfeld and Tyrus, not for solutions, but for the wink and smirk that says, relax, none of this is that deep, and the joke was never hers to tell. And Joy? She's still shouting at clouds like her voice controls the weather. But she hasn't noticed the storm she warned us about past years ago.
Sausage maker Johnsonville is recalling more than 42,000 pounds of pork sausage for possible contamination with plastic fibers. Fortunately, authorities were able to track all 42,000 pounds to a single location in New York City.
Sausage producer Johnsonville is recalling over 42,000 pounds of pork sausage due to possible contamination with thin plastic fibers. Fortunately, officials confirmed that all of the affected product was traced to a single distribution point in New York City. Intro 13. Meanwhile, Gutfeld's out here cracking jokes and raising eyebrows like he's delivering the weather report in pure sarcasm. And Joy? She's still out there hurling shade at thunder like she controls the forecast. Spoiler, the storm passed, and so did everyone else. Wherever you are, Joy, probably backstage, rehearsing another segment where every nod and clap is cued before you even open your mouth. Just know this, the takedown already happened. You just weren't in the room when it aired. And that's the beauty of it. Gutfeld and Tyrus didn't need you on set to roast you. All they needed was what you've already given them, your persona, your pattern, your show. That alone was enough. The rest? It practically wrote itself. That's how you truly dismantle a media figure. No shouting, no direct confrontation, just sharp satire doing all the heavy lifting. And in this case, the punchline wasn't just the jokes, it was the legacy. Now let's check in on Joy's throne. Oh wait, it's a wobbly old stool, held together by reruns, a fading laugh track, and takes that curdled like warm milk. Somebody grab a broom, this set's ready for cleanup.